What up, guys? Welcome to Music Blueprint. Today we are going to talk about what is the easiest way to make money in the music industry. Now, this all depends on what level you are at, but at the basic level, the easiest way to make money and quickly is playing shows, touring, getting out on the road, getting out there. It was the easiest thing for me to start making a full-time income. I just started playing shows everywhere. I was in Nashville at the time, and I was playing in Nashville everywhere. Obviously, Nashville's a very big music town, so it was a lot easier. There was a lot more options. But what I have found is that even if you're not that good, people just want to hear music. So a lot of times, even if you're in a town that is not the biggest music town in the world, there's always a place to play, and you can play there. And as long as you get your friends to show up and drink, you can make $100 a night. So I first want to walk through, how do you book a show? And I've talked about this before, but again, if you're new to Music Blueprint and you're new to listening to this podcast or watching this YouTube video, I'm gonna rehash it again, just in a very quick form. There are a lot of videos on here. I think this is our 30th podcast, so there's a lot of videos that we have done where we go in like real in depth about it, and I probably should do another video that goes even further in depth. But in a quick synopsis, basically what you need to do is you need to get the contact of the person that books the shows. Now, if you're in a little podunk town, your best bet would be to get a number. Also, if you're in a podunk town, you probably know that person, so it might be a lot easier. You could probably just show up there and say, hey, I'm new in music, and I've got a guitar and some songs and some covers I'd like to sing. Could I come and play for, an hour or two? You could, if you really don't think you're that good, you could just go off of pure tips and just say, hey, just let me have a tip jar, give me a couple beers that night and whatever. But if you're trying to make money with it and, maybe you're pretty decent, cool. Say, I'm only going to charge like $75 to $100. I'll play for 2 hours. If you're just starting out, 2 hours, an hour maybe, but make sure you have that amount of music. And I'll bring a ton of my friends. We'll drink all night. Cool. Okay, so now they're like, great, I'm paying that person $100, but they're gonna make me minimum $200, maybe even $300. And then also the people that are there are probably gonna spend more money because there's entertainment. You might also have to explain it to that person. If you're in a small town that doesn't really understand like the music industry and understand like all of those things on how, like, even if it's crappy music, people will just stick around for just crappy entertainment. And not to say that you're crappy, but you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to be great, honestly, to start playing. In fact, probably if you're just starting out, you're not that great. I know I wasn't. I worked my way to be who I am today. So, but I got paid even when I was crappy. So that's the thing. Anyway, so find the contact of the person. A lot of times today, if you're in a normal city, not out in the middle of nowhere, even out in the middle of nowhere, you can get an email online. They usually have some kind of website. You can get on that website. They have the booking person's name on there, or at least the restaurant's number, and you can call the restaurant. They'll connect you to the manager, and then you can do your spiel. If you only get an email, you need to send an email saying what date you want to play, how many people you'll bring in, what kind of music do you do, some information about yourself, maybe your social media, etc. Just give them a really short resume of what you do, what kind of artist you are, how many people can you bring to the place, what date you want to play, all that. Do not make it too long. Keep it short and sweet. The shorter, the better. People typically aren't reading everything. They just want a link to your music of what you sound like. Maybe a YouTube link will be fine, or even a TikTok or whatever. A link to your music, maybe some links to your social profile. If you're, have an okay following, maybe put that out there. And again, what day you want to play, where you're from, that might help as well. If you're, trying to play in Phoenix, Arizona, well, a lot of times with Phoenix, they take a lot of locals. So if you're like, yeah, I live in Phoenix, cool, you're probably going to get in. So really simple. And then you send that off and you try to get as many shows as possible. It's the quickest way to make money in a fast fashion, and you don't have to be that good. You just don't. You could play at a coffee shop. Literally, it's the easiest and quickest way to make money. With other aspects of music, for instance, teaching or songwriting, those you kind of have to build your way up. I did on the songwriting aspect. I was songwriting for probably about, on and off. I was pushing forward in college. I was songwriting a lot in college, but still, I really didn't get my zone of it until I got to Nashville. So I probably had like a good 4 years under my belt, and then Sound Better happened, and I started, a profile on there, and then that kind of built me into having money. But it was a slow build. Like I would get one songwriting gig every, I don't know, 3 months or so, and then I would get some in Nashville as well. So anyways, it was, songwriting is just a little bit of a slower build to me, but touring or playing shows is just very quick. You'll have to send out a ton of emails. It's not going to be like you send one and then that person gets back to you right away. You're going to have to send out a ton, but you send out a ton. Hopefully you even get like 10% back. Those 10% typically will at least let you have a tip jar at the bare minimum. The more people drink, typically the better you sound. So the longer you can play while people are drinking, the more likely of a chance you're going to get a tip. And yeah, it honestly, it's just really simple. The process is really simple. The exchange is really simple. You just contact the person some way, shape, or form. You say what kind of music you do. If they're like, yeah, we like that music, cool, we like the link you send us, we'll pay you this amount. Or you can say, hey, this is what I'm looking for. Don't go over the top with what you're trying to get paid, especially when you're just starting out. A lot of places will let you have a tip jar. They'll give you comp for food and drink. You got to play like at least 2 or 3 hours. And you'll probably make $100 in those 2-3 hours. And then you'll make maybe another $100 on the tip side. So to me, if you're making more than $100 a day, that's the gravy right there when you're starting out. I'm like, okay, $100 a day, that's $3,000 a month. If you're living anywhere, honestly, you could use that to make it in LA, which is one of the most expensive places to live. But if you're just living in a normal, non-super expensive city in the Midwest, anywhere that's not on the coast, that'll be a comfortable living for you. And then as you get better and better, then you can start charging more. More gigs will start coming. People will just start contacting you to play shows and open for them. I can't express enough how simple it is. It's just a very simple exchange. People love entertainment, whether it's bad or good. If it's bad, it's still entertaining. So don't be stressed about it. If you're like, good God, that song just bombed. Okay, say it on the mic. Yo, I just butchered that song. But a couple things that I'll give for tidbits to build upon. First, before you get out doing shows, at least have an hour of music. And I'm not saying an hour of originals. I'm saying an hour of covers, an hour of whatever. Get an hour down. And I'm talking about an hour, preferably without the music in front of you. Now, if you need the music in front of you, whatever. I know a ton of people that literally to this day don't do a show without music in front of them. So that's neither here nor there. I just try to take it to the next level because I don't have to it's just an added element that I don't need, and I can just perform. And a lot of the charisma that I had came from the fact that I just had everything memorized and I didn't have to be like looking and playing, and then I'm like trying to perform, and then I'm trying to play guitar, and I'm trying to sing, and then I'm also trying to read the lyrics. It's just like a lot of things to juggle. And to me, if you can just get the less things you have to juggle, the better and the smoother it's going to go. But again, if you're too nervous about that, no big deal. Keep the music in front of you, have an iPad in front of you, no biggie. And then from there, just try to build, into bigger and bigger things, or get more comfortable with people just requesting a random song and you being able to do it. That's probably the part that gets me the most tips, is the fact that I say, hey, I take requests. Request whatever you want. I don't know everything, but I know a decent amount. So request whatever you want and I will try to play it. 9 times out of 10, I'll get a 20 in the jar just on a simple request. I'll usually get a 5. It's just easy way to make money, because people, again, you're creating an exchange. You created an exchange between you and the manager to play there. Now you're creating an exchange between you and the person listening. They requested a song. They're going to give you money because you provided a service to them. So hopefully that helps. I try to make that as simple as possible. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments. I look at all the comments. I will try to answer them as best as I know how. And if not, I'm sure I know somebody who can give a great response as well. And again, I have a ton of videos about this and about touring and about how to book shows. So look up those videos, check them out, and good luck out there. Start making money immediately. All right? See you next week. Peace.